Okay, here's Module 5, Lesson 11 homework. We're starting to look at fractions based more on the number line than as a tape diagram or an area model. Okay, so these first three, we're looking at what each part represents on a number line, and then we have to circle the fraction that represents what we see on the tape diagram. So we look here, we see this is one whole, so we can put 0 and 1. And then we count up how many parts we have, 1, 2, 3. So this would be 1/3, this would be 2/3, this would be 3/3, or 1, same thing. I should have put that underneath there. That should go there, okay? So this would be 0/3. So now we need to circle the fraction that represents what is on the tape diagram shaded. So this is 1/3 shaded. Okay, earlier in the day, or when we were starting, let's just look at this one here. If it was shaded up to here, a lot of them were putting the 2/3 here, but it was important for them that they put it under the line at the end point, because 2/3 is an exact point on a number line. It's not just a general area. Like, yes, you could put 2/3 over this part of the tape diagram there because that's 2/3, but we are looking at it on the number line now, so it needs to be an exact point. Okay, we look at the next one, 0 and 1. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are going to be broken up into sixths. So we can do 6 sixths as a whole and 0 sixths. So 1 sixth, 2 sixths, 3 sixths, 4 sixths, 5 sixths. And then we have 1, 2 shaded, so that's 2 sixths. And now if we look at this one, again, this is a whole, so 0 and 1. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12 twelfths, 12 twelfths. That would be 0 twelfths. It's going to be kind of hard to get, well, the problem we did in class today was in the 16ths, so it was kind of difficult to split it up. So, and this is in contrast to the beginning of the unit when we were just doing, if we would look, it would be 1/12, 1/12, 1/12, 1/12. We're looking at more on where that fraction is on the number line. So now, if we look, we have 4 shaded, so 4/12 is that fraction. So now write a number sentence using multiplication to show the fraction represented in 1a, up here, which is 1/3, is equivalent to the fraction represented in 1b. So we do 1/3 equals 4/12. So we're looking at this fraction compared to this fraction here. And now what are we multiplying this fraction by to show an equivalency? Because if we look, it's taking up the same amount of area. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 per unit up here. So that means to get from 3 to 12, we're going to multiply by 4. And to go from 1 to 4, we're multiplying by 4. So that's all we're looking for there. Oops, I did C first, okay? This one should have been A and B. This one is A and C, so this one will do A and B. So now we do 1/3 equals 2 sixths. What are we multiplying this by? We have 2 parts per part from the original, so that means we're going to be multiplying by 2 over 2. So 1 times 2 gives us 2, and 3 times 2 gives us 6. So on to the back, we're doing the same thing, except we have to create our own number line, and then we're using division sentences on the bottom. So if we look, we have to create our own number line, so an endpoint and an endpoint. That's 0 and 1. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 0 fourths and 4 fourths. And then again, the lines are right above. Just mark the lines under where each part is on the tape diagram. So since we're fourths, this is 1/4, 2 fourths, and 3 fourths. And then we know that this is taking up 1, 2, 2 fourths. Okay. So this one again, this is 1. So we're going to create our own number line again from end to end, 0 and 1. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know we're going to be counting by eighths, so that's 0/8, and this is 8/8. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, and 7/8. So now we look, we're right under the 4/8. So that's where that would be on the number line. Then the last one again, mark our endpoints. So we have 0 and 1. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're marking it in tenths. So that's 10 tenths as a whole. So 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 4/5, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10. And we know that's 5/10. So now write a number sentence using division to show the fraction represented in 3a is equivalent to the fraction represented in 4b. So when you do the division, you have to write the fraction with the larger numbers in it first, equals 2/4. So what are we dividing 4 by to get 2? What are we dividing 8 by to get 2? So if we look up here, if we look at the one part, we have 2 parts per part on that one, so we're going to be dividing by 2 over 2. Okay? Now it gets a little tricky here. Okay? So we have partition a number line from 0 to 1 into fourths, decompose 3/4 into 6 equal lengths. Okay? So we have, this is our new number line. So 0 and 1, and we're partitioning it up into fourths. So we cut it in half, and then cut those segments in half. So we have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Okay, now decompose 3/4 into 6 equal lengths. So from here to here, I need 6 equal lengths. Well, we have 1, 2, 3. So to go from 3 to 6, we actually have to multiply that by 2 to double. So we're going to cut each one in half to get what these are broken up into. Okay? So half of a fourth, if we look up here, this was a fourth. Half of a fourth is now an eighth. So that's 1/8, and that's going to be 3/8, and that's going to be 5/8. Okay? So write a number sentence using multiplication to show what fraction represented on the number line is equivalent to 3/4. So we're looking at 3/4, and again, I just told you, we were splitting up each individual unit into 2, so we are actually trying to double that, the amount of parts, so that's why we have to multiply by 2 over 2. If you double, you multiply something by 2. So 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 2 is 8, and if we look, this goes 1/8, this would be 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, and then 6/8. Now we're going to use division to show what that is represented. So now we're going backwards from our 6/8. If we're multiplying 3/4 by 2 over 2 to get 6/8, to go backwards, we have to do the opposite of multiplication, which is divide. So now you divide by 2 over 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. And that is Module 5, Lesson 11. Hope it helps.